This is ketchup. It's celery ketchup. Now, according to History.com and the article, The Surprising Ancient History of Ketchup, celery ketchup was once a thing, even though I couldn't find anything else on the internet about that subject. Not an article, a recipe, anything. Now, I just recently made a mushroom ketchup, and I'll be honest, it came out incredibly good. I mean, it was really tasty. So I decided to see if I could make celery ketchup. I figured it had to be something similar. It had to be a similar recipe, a similar idea. I mean, most ketchups all have a lot of the same flavors. It's just the base is different. Tomato ketchup wasn't the original ketchup. The original ketchup actually used fish, from what a lot of people believe. There's some different theories on where ketchup came from, but it all stems from the fact that it most likely didn't start with tomatoes. Tomatoes most likely came quite a while after. So let's just see. Can we ketchup celery? Is it able to be turned into ketchup? I think so I decided to make it. Now, I'm going to be using a similar recipe to my mushroom ketchup, and it's pretty simple with a few tweaks. First, we need about 3 pounds of celery. I'm using quite a bit because in my head, I'm thinking celery's going to cook down a lot. Now, I might be wrong, but stick around and find out. I'm going to give these a quick wash, chop them up, leaves and all, and toss them into a Dutch oven. Now, I'm going to kind of layer them up with some salt. I'm going to be using about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Every layer that I toss in of celery, I'm going to be tossing in a layer of salt just to kind of mix it evenly, and I'm going to end up mixing that all up in the end anyways. Now we just need to let it rest, but I'm going to be adding in some lactic acid. Now you don't have to do this. A lot of times people will let the ketchup base ingredient rest, like for the mushrooms, I let that rest overnight. Same thing with tomatoes, you would cover them in salt and let them rest overnight. That's actually going to produce a little bit of lactic acid, so I'm going to just kind of skip that step, toss the lactic acid in, give them a cover, and let them sit for about an hour. That's it. This is going to draw out a lot of liquid. Now, after the hour, you could see right here, there's a lot of liquid that came out of these, but we're actually going to save that. That's going to be part of the cooking process. Now, like I said, I'm keeping this ketchup similar, so we're going to chop up some shallots, toss those in a pan with about 1 tablespoon of olive oil, cook them up till they're nice and translucent. I'm actually going to caramelize them just a little bit. That's going to add just a touch of flavor. Toss those in with the celery, and then I'm going to break up about 6 cloves of garlic. I don't need to chop these up. I'm just going to crush them and just throw those in. Now, along with the garlic and the shallots, I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1/2 teaspoon allspice, 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves, 1.5 teaspoons white pepper, 1.5 teaspoon dried thyme, 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger, 2 teaspoons soy sauce, 1 teaspoon smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1.5 cups of white vinegar, and we're going to add about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of water. I just want to make sure this is fully covered. Now all we have to do is just bring this to a boil, turn the heat down, and cover it. I'm going to let this cook for at least 20 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor, Native. Quick question. What changes, if any, have you been making in your daily life to be more sustainable? It's the little things that add up over time, like reducing single-use plastics, and one way to do that is with things that we always buy, deodorants. So I've been using Native plastic-free deodorant. It's earth-friendly and 100% plastic-free, aluminum-free, paraben-free, vegan, and cruelty-free. They use simple ingredients like coconut oil and shea butter. And they smell really good. I got the aloe and green tea, which is really light and refreshing smelling. It smells really clean. Eucalyptus and mint, which is like lightly minty, kind of outdoorsy. And charcoal, which is my favorite. There's a slight citrus smell and a scent that I can't quite put my finger on, but it smells really refreshing. And when you're all done, the packaging is 100% recyclable. You save 37 grams of single-use plastic by choosing the Native plastic-free deodorant over their classic, which is the same formula. It's just plastic-free. And it's not sticky, it feels dry when applying, and you get all-day odor protection. It's 72-hour protection, that's wild. And the aloe and green tea version I got is from their sensitive range, so it includes no baking soda. Provides that same 72 hours of odor protection. It's pretty great. I really love the smell too. So gang, use my link and code Saucestache to get 20% off your first purchase at Native. This offer is available site-wide, but only for a limited time, so stock up today. Native, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for making me feel fresh and clean while feeling good about not using any more plastic. I'm loving it. And we're back. See, that was quick. So once this is cooked down, I'm going to turn off the heat, open up the cover, and let it just sit for just a little bit. You could see the celery cook down just a little bit. You remember that joke I made in the beginning about it cooking down? Well, it didn't cook down as much as I thought it would. So we're going to let this cool down just enough to handle, and then I'm just going to pour this through a wire mesh strainer, saving that liquid. We're actually going to toss that liquid right back into the Dutch oven, kick the heat up, get it to a boil, and allow that to start cooking down. We want this to cook down quite a bit, more than half, but 3/4 even, almost all the way down to where where it's like a paste. Now I'm gonna start tossing the celery into a blender and start pulsing. I'm just gonna keep pulsing as we go, kind of turning this celery into like a celery mash. Now we're gonna try to go for that same ketchup-like consistency that we're used to, the shiny and smooth. But you're not gonna get this directly with celery because celery is like pretty fibery, so it's gonna be a little tough to get there, but we're gonna get close. So now we have that extra liquid cooked down quite a bit. I can run my spatula through it. It's gonna stick to a spoon. It's pretty thick. I actually poured this into another container just so I can see about how much we cooked it down, which was a lot, like I said. So I'm just gonna add that a little bit at a time to the blender while I'm running this blender on fairly high. I wanna see how smooth I can get this, and I actually blew my breaker in my house, so I lost that footage. It got corrupted. That was a bummer. I was a little upset about that, but I got the breaker flipped, started blending again, and I unplugged a few things that were on this outlet, and I got it down to a fairly good consistency. It's pretty smooth. Once we got it to that consistency, we actually have made quite a bit of this, so I'm gonna be adding some xanthan gum to help thicken this up. It's gonna smooth it out even more. I'm gonna continue blending with the xanthan gum just to kind of mix that all in. And now we have our ketchup. It's still not as smooth as I would like. It's not as smooth as the mushroom ketchup, but I have a feeling it'll still be pretty good. So as you can see, I don't have a good funnel, so I just decided to try to pour it. That was a mess. I'm gonna end up using a bag. I'm not a fan of that, but you can wash these out, reuse them for other things. That's commonly what I do. A lot of times I just use them to like tent new plants. It kind of helps with growing some seedlings. That's kind of cool. A cool way to use them at least. So once I have the bottles full, I'm gonna toss these into the fridge. I just want them to cool down a little bit. We'll make some French fries, pour this out. I mean, this is like a golden ketchup. How cool is that? Now let's see what Monica has to say.
Ketchup, celery.
That's really good.
Celery ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like it. It really tastes like ketchup with a little bit of celery hint to it.
So I think it tastes like ketchup with a lot amount of celery to it.
The first taste I got was ketchup and then celery aftertaste.
That's crazy, because like the first taste I got was celery and then ketchup aftertaste. But I mean, either way, it's good.
It starts to turn into ketchup after a while, so you'll taste a little bit of celery first couple bites, and then you're like, oh, I forgot it was celery ketchup, now it just tastes like ketchup.
I wish I would have got burgers again for this test, because I would have loved to see how this worked on a burger, because I think it would have been really good.
This is crazy. I don't know why it's not more popular. Delish.
Like, I think if I were to make it again, I'd probably add a touch more sweetness. I don't know. Do you think it needs to be sweeter, or?
Just maybe a touch. Not more.
But really, there's not a whole lot I would change.
Not much more than a touch. A little dash.
Yeah, like just a touch sweetness. But if I could like maybe get it just a bit smoother, I think that would be the other thing.
Okay. It doesn't look as smooth as it tastes.
No,
it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, there's no like fiberiness to it at all.
Yeah.
I dig that.
I love it.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. There's a lot of flavor going on here.
Yeah.
What else would this be good on, you think?
Burger. Oh, a hot dog.
Oh my gosh.
Like a vegan hot dog.
This would be really good on a hot dog. Yeah, like the relishy kind of like.
It's got that mixture of taste with it.
Gosh, I'm like kicking myself for just making fries.
Gotta make a hot dog.
The weird thing is the fiberiness. It's like you could see some of the fibers like as you're like stirring up. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
You know,
but you don't taste it.
You
just have to pretend you don't see it.
I don't know. I love everything about this.
It's good.
It is a winner. With the acidity level of this, like all the vinegar, the lactic acid, I would say sealed up in the fridge, it would last probably at least a month. That's my best guess. I would think that's what you're going to get out of it. All in all, I have nothing else to say. It's a winner.
It's a winner.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have to go outside? Is that he's so cute. Let me get you.